Hey fellow fishing fanatics, my name is Wesley Littlefield and I'm at Red Crest this week, and I decided to get a few river fishing tips from the pros. So if you fish rivers, this is what the pros would do. You've got to check it out. It's definitely a video that you're going to want to check out.
Hey guys, I'm Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour angler Greg Vinson. We're talking about fishing rivers. One of the most important things is understanding current. Look for things that break the current, like trees, rocks, points, anything like that. That river is like a conveyor belt, bringing their food source to them. So they're going to position just outside of that current in an eddy that's formed by one of those hard objects where they can ambush their prey and get back in a place where they don't have to burn a whole lot of those calories they just gained. If you can learn that, you can present different baits, crankbaits, jigs, a variety of different things in those eddies and let that bait work through that zone where the current goes from fast to slow. You can catch fish on river systems anywhere in the country.
Hey, Kevin VanDam here, and we're at Red Crest and covering a few little fishing tips. So, rivers and fishing current is something that's really, really important. What I love about current is that it helps me know where these fish are going to be positioned. They like to be in areas where they can be right close to the current, but not in the full blunt of it. So you're looking for anything that breaks it a little bit, a seawall, a rock, a point, a corner, anything like that that can change the current. If there's a log laying there, as water hits an object, there's a push in the front of it that creates a dead spot where a fish can sit and not expend a lot of energy, and they can be right below it. So one of the key things that most people don't think about is fishing the upside of objects that they see in the currents. And that's something that especially smallmouth and spotted bass, they like to get out in front of those objects. So make sure that you position your bait so that they're swinging down in front of that cover first, or that current break first, and then always fish the backside as well. Just depends on if a fish is in a feeding mode or in a resting mode where he's going to be. Obviously, a bait that is really good when you can't see the bottom, you're fishing a lot of deeper areas, and that is crankbaits. You can reel that down, you're ricocheting off the rocks, it's going to get down near the bottom, and that's where the fish are going to be. They're not going to be in the brunt of the current, and that bottom creates an edge where they can hang out of the current. So a crankbait's a very efficient tool for it. The other thing is having something that you can fish in the water column. And my favorite, hands down, is a spinnerbait, because I can basically fish it at whatever level in the water column that I need to. So depending on that water clarity, a spinnerbait is going to be a really good choice. If it's really dirty, they're going to be up there tight to the bank and on the edges of those current. But in the summertime, when those fish live in the main river and they're around a lot of current, a spinnerbait's just a great tool. You can slow roll that down, let it swing down there with the current around some of these areas like that. Some of the cover fish is good through timber and brush, wood, rocks, everything. A spinnerbait's just a great bait in the current.
Hey guys, Josh Bertrand here, and we're here talking about river fishing today. River fishing for bass isn't that different than lake fishing for bass. Current, you're dealing with current, and there's a lot of different things that the current does to position the fish. One tip that I can give you, aside from the actual fish positioning and current stuff like that, is just to downsize your baits. If you're throwing a topwater and you maybe you take a Berkeley Chopo for instance, if you throw the 105 or the 120 on lakes, the 90 is a great river bait. A little bit easier to cast up into those tight little nooks and crannies, and it's going to catch those fish. A lot of times river fish just aren't generally as big as fish that grow up in a lake. They're fighting current all the time. You can sure catch a big fish in a river, but a lot of times they're not going to be quite as big as fish that live in the lake. So downsizing your baits a little bit, it matches the hatch a little bit better, and seems to work a little bit better overall.
Hey guys, I'm Randall, Tharp. We're here at the Red Crest Expo, and everybody knows I'm a river rat. I grew up fishing the Tennessee River, the Coosa River, the Warrior River. Those were my stomping grounds. So let's talk a little bit about river fishing. And when you talk about a river, the number one and key ingredient is current. Places to key on is obviously like current breaks, or places the water back up. Some, the later in the year, the heavier current they like to be in. But wherever you're going to find that bait stacked up in some kind of a break or an eddy or a main point is where you're going to want to key on. So how do you do that? You can honestly use any lure, but to me, old school crankbaits, spinnerbaits, and my number one favorite way is with a jig, just like that. I'm not a finesse guy. That's a brand new half-ounce jig, and you can get a good look at that hook right there. You're not going to see another one like it. It's one that I've been working on for several years, and you can be looking for this thing about out at iCast. But 20-pound gamma fluorocarbon, 7.5 foot, heavy action flipping stick. I usually put a Zoom Big Salty chunk on the back of this thing, take it to a river near you, and you see what happens.
So those are some quick and easy tips that you can put into practice when you're fishing a river. And if you want to purchase some of the products that they mentioned down below, I'll have those in the description as well. And if you want to learn how to fish a pond, I've got a video right down below me. It's going to teach you everything you need to know to get started fishing ponds. Until then, I want you to always remember that education is important, but fishing is essential.